What's up, YouTube? Jay Lee here, Northwest Podcast. Today I'm going to do it a little different. I'm going to do a driving vlog, but my camera's not incredible, so it's probably not going to be, this little camera on my camera phone. This little camera on my cell phone is probably not going to be great, so it's not going to, the picture quality ain't going to be amazing, but for me, it's hot, it's summer. Seattle's been super hot the last 5 days. For us, it's super hot. For people who live in the South or wherever, this is probably real nice. Discovered that I don't like the hot anymore. I grew up in Eastern Washington where it gets a lot hotter than Seattle, and I've gotten accustomed to the nice 70-degree weather all year round. So I'm not feeling this hot. So I'm in my shorts, t-shirt. I'm out here. I got my cool air blowing. It's 4 in the morning. I'm up, I'm awake. I'm gonna go drive in this little country area. So maybe it'll be all right with these lights, but in a second here, it's gonna be country, so it's gonna be real dark. I hear the coyotes out here at night, blah, 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 right? But anyway, today I wanna talk about, or tonight, or this morning, whatever, I wanna talk about why women choose losers, okay? This is an interesting subject. This is something that I've never talked about before, something that I have some experience with because I've been what you would consider a quote-unquote loser in my life, and I'm gonna put that in the title as well, quote-unquote, because I don't like using that word loser too much. I don't like using that word because, first of all, it's derogatory, and it's misused a lot because someone who's down and out in their life does not necessarily mean that that person is a loser. It just means that that person is going through some hard circumstances, right? A lot of the people that I think are losers, actually a lot of people might think are winners. Like somebody like fucking Cardi B or Nicki Minaj. I think those women are losers. You know what I mean? Like financially, outwardly, everything might be going on great in their life, but they got no moral compass. They got no moral foundation, right? There's nothing quality character-wise about them, right? I think those people are losers. I think people who get into relationships for the wrong reasons are losers, right? I've met many a guy who is considered a loser just because he's going through a hard time in his life. And I don't agree with that. I don't think that guy's a loser. I judge people on the content of their character, and I judge people on their heart and their intentions and their behavior, right? That's how I think people should be judged, if we're going to judge at all, right? Not on their success outwardly, or their finances outwardly, or their resources outwardly, okay? So that's a little preface to this concept that I'm going to develop here, how I feel about it, my perspective. I don't think that losers are the same. So when I say losers, I'm using quotations because my view of a loser is not the same as really what I'm going to be talking about here. What I'm talking about today, the loser, quote unquote, in context, really is not necessarily that guy's not necessarily a loser. It's just what the world and what girls and what the Matrix considers a loser is a guy who probably is not working, doesn't have a great job, he's going through a hard time. Now, here's the thing, you don't know what that guy went through. Like, if you've dated like I have, you understand hypergamy and you understand female nature is very materialistic. You understand that female nature is very judgy, right? As far as like, I deserve the best, and I deserve this prince, and I deserve, to be swept off my feet, and I deserve a guy to have his shit together, and I deserve a guy who's got all these resources, and that's female nature. And there's guys out there who want to bend over backwards for that, right? They will bend over backwards to be accepted by a woman, to fulfill those fantasies for her, right? oh, he took me out and he wined and dined me, and like, you see that and you think, what is she bringing to the table? You know, what is she bringing to the table? What is she doing, right? So I question all of that, obviously. And if you listen to my channel, you listen to the videos that I put out, you know damn well what I'm talking about. You know damn well, you know, that I don't think women are worth what they say they're worth, because we live in a gynocentric society, right? Women are on a pedestal. We're supposed to impress them. We're supposed to placate their fantasies and their desires. And what is that? They want that Prince Charming. They want that guy, or they want the bad boy, right? Now, here's where I'm going to sort of talk about, why women date losers. Okay, so here's the thing. It's really two reasons. Really about two reasons. Okay, first of all, women go through phases, right? What they're looking for in a guy, what they want at that period of their life, right? Women go through phases. And when it comes to guys, it's like women have so much choice, right? And it's like a medley. I don't know if you know what a medley is. A medley is like a compilation of different fruits and whatever, or could be, you know, different vegetables. A medley is like a big mix, and it's like the idea behind a medley is you get a big choice. Like, you got a bunch of choices to eat from, right? Women are dating in a scenario where they have a medley. They have a medley of choices, or a plethora, if you will, right? They have lots and lots of choices, okay? And here's the thing, when you know, I like the word medley because it implies that you're eating and you're picking and choosing and you're enjoying different flavors, different varieties. That's what the idea behind a medley is, that word medley, right? So this is the same concept with women in dating. Women have a medley to choose from, right? They have a palette of different men to choose from. So women go through phases with boyfriends. And this is not uncommon at all. This is very common. Women will date a guy for one reason, date another guy for another reason. This guy's a bad boy. This guy's tall. This guy's popular. This guy has social status. This guy has money. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Women will always respond to a guy with money and status. Looks, money, status, the top three. Women are always looking for that, period. However, again, they go through phases. So this is why you'll see a woman sometimes dating a guy that we might consider a loser. Well, why is she with this guy? He's fat and he's this and that. Well, she might just think he's funny, right? She might just think he's sweet, or she might just think he's this or that. But here's the thing you got to consider. Just because she's dating this guy doesn't mean she's going to be with him for the rest of her life, one. Two, it doesn't mean that she's not cheating on him, okay? Three, it doesn't mean that she's not planning to dump him. Four, it doesn't mean she's not looking for a guy to replace him and monkey branch away from him, you see? So people look at a girl dating a guy who's maybe ugly, or doesn't dress well, or he's bummy, or he's kind of a loser, or he's fat and he's kind of goofy, and they're like, what's up with this girl? Why is she dating? She just might like him. She just might think he's quirky, or she thinks his jokes are corny and funny in a corny way. But here's the thing. There's a good chance she's not going to end up staying with that guy. Women go through phases, and this is where we get the saying, she was never yours, it's just your turn, right? This is where we get that saying from, because women jump from guy to guy. They might like one guy for one reason, they might like another guy for another reason. Oh, he's got cute hair, he's got good hair, and I'm not kidding, they really will date a guy just because he has good hair. And if he says some funny things, if he says the right things, she'll date him. I'm telling you, it's on the one hand, it's really hard to get in a woman's pants and to date a woman on the one hand. On the other hand, it's kind of easy. It just depends. It depends on you. It depends on her. It depends on her mood. It depends on what she wants at that time in her life. Okay? So when we say, why do women date losers? Well, that's why. She's going through a phase. The difference is she going to end up with that guy? Is she going to marry that guy? And I would say 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. 9 times out of 10, she's not going to end up with that guy, because just because a woman dates you doesn't mean she doesn't have plans, right? Just because she's dating you doesn't mean she doesn't still harbor. And this is where women should be held accountable. This is where women are kind of cruel. Because they'll date a guy knowing damn well that they're not going to end up with him. They'll date a guy knowing damn well that they want something else, that they want something more. They want a guy with more money. They want a guy who's taller. They want a guy who is more masculine or whatever, right? And it's kind of cruel because they're leading that guy on. You know, the whole relationship is them just sort of using him in a way, right? And the irony is women always say that, oh, men are using women. Well, no, the top 5 to 10% of guys are using women for sex or whatever, right? So, that's number one, is she's just going through a phase. The second reason why a woman will date a loser, quote unquote, right, is because she wants to fix him. All right. The first reason is because she's going through a phase and something about him is just attractive or whatever. She just likes him for some reason and she's not intending to stay with him. The second reason is because she wants to fix him. Now, usually when a girl wants to fix a guy, the guy's a bad boy, usually, but he's a broken bad boy. He's an anti-hero, right? Or he's a lovable loser, right? Or I wouldn't even use that word lovable loser, because that's not really, when a girl wants to fix a guy, there's something about that guy that's really attractive, right? There's something about him that's really attractive, and it usually has to do with like his not giving a fuck attitude. Usually when a girl wants to fix a guy, it's because he's a loser outwardly, but he doesn't give a fuck about it. Like, he doesn't care. And this is why she wants to fix it. This is why she wants to be with him. And when a woman wants to fix a guy, actually, usually it's long term. She wants to fix him to be with him for long term. She thinks that he's a frog and he's going to turn into a prince. And a lot of times that just doesn't happen for whatever reason, right? A lot of times it doesn't happen. Sometimes it does happen, but a lot of times it doesn't. Women will want to fix that loser guy, but usually he's a bad boy, right? Women want to fuck bad boys. Women are attracted to guys who don't give a shit. They are attracted to guys who don't care. They are attracted to guys who play by their own rules, or guys who just don't play by any rules at all. When you start caring, you are no longer attractive to women. When you care about life, or when you're whatever, like, you lose your value. You just lose your value. And they can tell. How do you talk to her? How do you respond to her? How do you carry yourself, right? They can tell. They can tell whether or not you are, faking it, or you're really a bad boy. You just don't give a shit, right? And now I always say the best way to get laid is to be a bad boy. The best way to get laid is to present yourself as a bad boy, if you can do it. It's not easy to do. Sometimes you have to actually live that lifestyle. You have to really adopt that I don't give a fuck attitude. Like look at somebody like Tupac, right? If anybody grew up in the 90s like me, we remember Tupac. What was so attractive about Tupac? Well, on the one hand, yeah, he was an attractive, looking guy. But what was so attractive about him, the reason why so many women just wanted him, was because he didn't give a fuck. He was a bad boy. He He didn't care. He was the anti-hero. He had human qualities, right? But he was a bad boy. He was not playing by any rules. He was not trying to be nice to anybody, right? He wasn't trying to win anyone's favor. He wasn't playing by any freaking rules. And they will settle down with a nice guy. Women want to settle down with the nice guy because he's safe and secure. There's a big part of female nature that wants security and they want predictable. Why? Because that guy can ensure that nothing's going to go awry. Nothing's going to get fucked up, right? That he's going to supply a home for her. He's going to supply resources for her, and she can count on him. This is what women usually end up settling for when they, after they're done, running around chasing these losers, right? But there's another big part of female nature that just wants that bad boy, that just wants that guy who doesn't give a fuck, wants that guy who's dangerous, plays by his own rules, right? Makes his own way. This is what they want. And that's a big part of what they want. It's not all of what they want, because women want security. And like I said, looks, money, status always matters. Always. But again, she will put all that on hold for a bad boy. For the right guy that doesn't give a fuck, the right guy that just does something to her on the inside, makes her feel butterflies in her stomach because he just doesn't give a fuck. But once you start, here's the thing. A lot of times, the reason why these relationships don't work out with the fixer-upper guys, and sometimes it does work in the sense that they really do fix the guy. The guy really does reform. But a lot of times what happens is when he reforms, he's no longer that bad boy anymore. So that attraction, that spark is gone somewhat. But it really depends. It depends on how much he changes. If he changes into sort of more beta, because women will try to beta-ize a man. They will try to make you beta, and it's a weird way of them testing you. People talk about shit tests, right? Well, there's quick short-term shit tests. There's like in the moment shit tests, and then there's long-term shit tests. She will shit test you in a long-term type way. If you go from being that bad boy alpha guy who doesn't give a fuck to being sort of a pushover guy who, now that you've reformed and she really has fixed you, she really has helped you, and then you've changed. Sometimes guys will change into more of a beta. They'll change into more of a domesticated guy, and then the women are no longer attracted to them. They're like, well, wait a minute. What happened? That spark is gone because he's not the bad boy who he used to be. You actually fixed him to the point where he's too fixed. And this is where guys, if you're in a scenario like that, you got to be wary. If you're too fixed, she won't be attracted to you anymore. But a lot of times that doesn't work out because, a lot of times these guys that's just their nature to be a bad boy. It's their nature to just be free and whatever. And a lot of times the women will get really fucked up because of that. Then they'll stick with him for 15 years or whatever. I've talked to a lot of women who've been like, I stuck with my guy for 15 years and I did all this to get him to work and have a better job and have a better lifestyle like me, and I'm successful. Why can't he be successful like me? And all and you gotta read between the lines. Like, well, wait a minute. You stuck with this guy for 15 years and you thought he was a loser, but you never left him? Well, think about what that means. That means that she's attracted to fucking losers. She's attracted to, but why? Because that loser guy, he's a bad boy. What is attractive about him? The fact that he's an anti-hero. What is an anti-hero? An anti-hero doesn't give a fuck. An anti-hero plays by their own rules, and it's not the right way. It's not, oh yes, I'm going to conform to society. No. It's, I'm playing by my rules. Take it or leave it. I can get somebody else because I don't give a fuck. And women just go goo-goo. I mean, they get wet over that. They love that because it shows that he's independent. It shows that he plays by his own rules. It's sexy as fuck, yet there's also something within her which is like, God, I want security. I want this guy who's a bad boy, but I also want him to be more conformed to society. So this is the problem with female nature. This is what's exposed here is the fact that they want their cake and eat it too, and they can't really have it, right? It's very, very rare when a guy is he's a bad boy, but he's also playing within the rule. Like, it's kind of contradictory, right? But that's female nature, man. They want that. They want that bad boy, but they also want that domesticated guy. And it's like, what they really want is they want a balance there. They want the balance. They want him to have the bad boy characteristics, but also outwardly they want him to be at least so far conformed to society that he is not, outwardly, materialistically, he's successful. So they really want, what they really want is they want a successful bad boy, right? Who's not so much of a bad boy that, she can't take him home to meet daddy, that she can't take him to parties, she can't show him off, right? It's a weird thing. I've heard women say, I want the bad boy. It's kind of equivalent to the guy saying, I want the queen in the streets and the freak in the sheets, or whatever that's called. Right? You've heard that saying before. It's kind of equivalent to that. She wants the bad boy who can protect her physically and who doesn't give a fuck in certain scenarios, but he's also kind of conformed to society, and like she could take him to parties, and he's cool around her parents. Like, that's the perfect scenario. That's really what girls want. And this is why they'll try to fix these guys. They'll be like, oh, he's got these characteristics, because it's all about characteristics. Okay, yes, there's looks, money, status, right? That's outward. That's just a given, right? But what women really want are these characteristics. They want these inward characteristics of a guy who has these qualities. He's masculine. He's firm. He's he plays by his own rules. He's a survivor. He's got the ability to care for her physically. She feels physically that he can protect her. But also, in this world that we live in, where money matters, right? Where you gotta have a house, you gotta work, you gotta have resources. She wants that too. And this is why, part of the reason why, obviously when women go out and sleep around, they lower their value and they don't realize it, but that's a big reason why they end up with these beta providers. But the other reason is because I lost my train of thought, sorry. So yes, there's the beta providers. The other reason is because they really can't find the guy. They can't find that guy. They're always looking for that special guy, right? They're always looking for that leading man, but he needs to be special, right? They're always looking for John Wick, right? Everybody's afraid of John Wick. John Wick is special. John Wick is the ultimate killer, the ultimate Sigma male. They're always looking for that guy who's just the most amazing thing, right? They're always looking for that guy. But and a lot of times they find him, or they find their version of him. But if he doesn't conform, if he doesn't also eventually meet those outward materialistic standards, such as, well, you got to pay a mortgage, you got to have a nice house, I want to live a nice lifestyle, I want to go on trips, I want to live in a nice home, I'm out driving tonight, you can't see it, but there's all these great big homes, there's these nice homes, right? They want that. And they want a guy to give it to them. And they believe they deserve it, because gynocentrism. They don't want to work for it. They want the guy to give it to them. And they believe, and here's the thing, they can get it, because that is what female role has been. The guy has to go get the house. You got to work, buddy. You got to have a career. You got to go get the house. But when you get the house, then the women come calling. right? Or, you know, in our weird, fucked up, backwards ass society, we still have to call, but we say, hey, look, I got the house. And, you know, watch birds. Go on a nature channel on YouTube or whatever and watch a bird documentary, right? What do these birds do? Birds build these nests, and once they build a nest, a nice nest, the female comes around and she chooses she chooses the male with the nicest nest. Now that's one example. There's different examples of being alpha, the strongest male, this, that, and the third. But I don't think, like, you know, like lions and shit, they fight, and deer and elk, they fight for the female, and a lot of species fight for the female. But I don't think that's really how humans do it. I think how humans do it is the males win her over with the nicest nest. So watch birds. Go and watch I think maybe peacock. No, not peacocks, because peacocks. That's why they call it peacocking. But there's birds, and they build nests, and the ones with the nicest nests get the females. Meaning, what matters is their ability to build a really nice nest. That's what matters in their ability to mate. If you build a really nice nest, you will get the female. And this is how it is with humans, I believe, for the most part. We don't talk about it. Like, you're not going to see it in the psychology books or the social psychology books, right? You're not going to see that, but that's what it is. I don't think, I mean, maybe you will, but we don't talk about it. We don't talk about it in a correct context. What women are really choosing on the dating sites is the guy who's got the nice house, the guy who's got his shit together, the guy who's got his resources. That's what women are really choosing. So this is what happened. This is why temporarily, those two reasons, temporarily she'll choose the loser, and eventually she'll settle for the guy with the nice house. That's just what it is. And I think that's really what matters the most, is women want to be taken care of for the rest of their life. Now, this doesn't mean women don't want to work. Maybe women do have the desire and ambition to work. But I don't think anybody really wants to work. I think people want to live a nice life, and they want to be comfortable, and they want to be happy. Well, excuse me, don't get me wrong. There are people who do enjoy work. There are people who enjoy and are ambitious, and they enjoy pursuing their career goals, and they wouldn't have it any other way. If they could retire and not pursue those things, they wouldn't. They would still choose to pursue those things. But most people in the world and on the earth don't really want to work. They just want to be comfortable. They want to be with their family. They want to be with the people they love. And they want to live a nice lifestyle. That's it. That's all. So why wouldn't she choose the guy that could give her that? Why wouldn't she choose the guy who would provide that for her? Right? Why wouldn't she? She would, and she will, and they do, and women, and this is what they do. She does choose him. So we just don't talk about it like that. There's so many lies revolving around relationships and how women choose, and there's so many lies. Like, I just want a sweet guy, I want a funny guy, no, bullshit. You want a guy with resources. That's what you really want. But in the meantime, she might go for that funny guy. She might date that chubby loser. She might date that really short guy because she sees something she likes in him. That will happen, but trust me, if he's not providing eventually, if he doesn't have a good job, she will date him for maybe 6 months. She'll date him maybe for a summer. She'll date him maybe for even 2 years. But eventually, she's gonna say, you know what? I want a guy who's got his shit together. I want a guy who can give me a house. I want a guy where I can have kids with him. I want a guy that can take care of me financially. And if you're not providing that, you're toast, man. You're out. You're yesterday's news. You're just the flavor of the month. That's all. That's why women date losers. That's why. So with that said, I think I'm going to end it here. I think I pretty much made my point. Appreciate you guys listening. It's been Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Peace.